touchdown run. And the Seahawks have taken a first quarter for 2. Rawls will try and run it in. And he will dive into the end to gain there on the 2-point conversion, and they were able to do it.
And how many teams shy away from running the football in a 2-point conversion? They treat 2 yards as if it were 20. If you're a good team running the ball, go to your strength. Go ahead and push it into the end zone.
And they did. It worked. Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. And they're able to return this one all the way up to the 45.
Well, he gave up the first touchdown of the game, but how about the response? Big-time return. Now it's their chance to try and put points on the board.
So the football switching hands here in just a second. And, you know, Tom Brady, just to go off on a tangent for a second, may have lost the Super Bowl, but 3rd MVP this past season, and what he did at age 40, really something, right, Charles?
Absolutely phenomenal. Ended up beating out Todd Gurley, the running back for the Los Angeles Rams. But he would have traded it for a Super Bowl win, don't you think? How about this? The last 9 NFL MVPs to play in the Super Bowl that same season, 0-9.
Yeah.
99 where he won the double.
We were going over that stat earlier. That is hard to believe.
But he would have been the MVP had the Patriots pulled that one out.
Yeah, he still has 5 rings, though. 5 Super Bowl titles for Brady. And no room that time, getting it to about the 46. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again. Go play action, hit them over the top.
And this is going to be incomplete.
Had an open man that time. They ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline. And this one goes angling out of bounds, and it will be spotted inside the 30-yard line. Before the offense changes hands here, let's look back at the Super Bowl February 5th. What a game. I know you were there calling it offensively, though. Impressive on both sides.
It certainly was, and let's face it, if you're in Minnesota, it's cold outside, but you talk about the offenses, they heated up in a big way. And how about Nick Foles? The backup quarterback turned MVP, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, and, of course, the big one receiving on the Philly special.
Quite a story. As you and I were talking about off air, it was just a fluid game. Not a lot of penalties, just really clean play. There goes Thomas Rawls. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Thomas Rawls with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter. And the Seahawks get the quick strike touchdown. And a pair of rushing touchdowns now for him in the first quarter.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing from his big guys up front because they're winning the leverage game. How many times we talk about low man wins, right? Move the defensive front aside, create those gaps and holes. He's found his way through them for 2 touchdowns.
And after both of those touchdowns, he went right up to that O-line and hit each of them on the helmet. He recognized it.
That's a smart man. You know what else he should do? If this continues, take them all to dinner.
Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. Short kick. One of the up men will take it now. And they'll be set up pretty nicely here as they have it up to the 35-yard line. Switching things over, San Francisco taking over on offense here in just a second. And you and I discussed earlier when Jimmy Garoppolo became the starter, what a turnaround it was for San Fran at the end of the year. 1-10 in the first 11 weeks, 5-0 after that. Some momentum to take into the offseason.
And beat some teams that are acknowledged as good teams in the league, including the NFC West champion Los Angeles Rams down the stretch. So that was a big deal for them. Highest scoring offense in the NFL last 4 weeks of the season. But I loved last year's draft because they got good play from those guys. Solomon Thomas in the first round. Reuben Foster in the first round, the linebacker. Trent Taylor, wide receiver. And a Keller Witherspoon cornerback. Some building blocks as they move forward.
And this one caught along the sideline, but they say already out of bounds. Now the throw didn't give him a chance to turn it upfield, and that brings up 2nd down.
That was a nice catch, but unable to stay in bounds. And remember, it wasn't a wide receiver who works on that all the time.
I was going to say, he likes to get the ball handed to him. Now, don't get me wrong, he's part of the passing game as well, but maybe a little out of his comfort zone there.
Yeah, he might want to have a few words to say to us about that later, but I am still going with you on that one. Wide receivers work on a little bit more. I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
And able to find Curley. And heavy contact. He is knocked down hard. A gain of 19 and picking up the first.
The general consensus that Brian Hoyer was acquired by San Francisco to be a one-year solution at quarterback. I know Brian, he looks at it as a long-term solution.
He wants to, and no escaping this time. He'll go down. They got him for a sack.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely. He's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. And a short gain here, down to the 22. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to them, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And the Seahawks have picked it up. Defenders giving chase, but I don't think they're... there. 20, 10, and he's going to score. It's a Seahawk touchdown. They give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice you're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
And they will line up now for the two-point try. Rawls will try and run it in. And he will get into the end zone to extend the lead by 2 more. And, boy, things switched on a dime here. The fumble recovery for the touchdown and also a two-point try on top successful.
That feels like a momentum call. Pick it up on a fumble return, take it the other way for a touchdown. That's demoralizing for a team to have it happen against them. So the offense just says, you know something? Let's add to it. Pile on top, go for 2 now while their heads are down.
Before the possession switches here, I had written down that I wanted to talk about some of the awards this past season in the NFL. We know Brady was the MVP, but Todd Gurley, Offensive Player of the Year.
How about that for a bounce back? Many were questioning whether he'd had a sophomore slump the season before. Didn't even get to 1,000 yards. Was a dominant force in 2017. How about his team?
And eventually taken down here. Great coverage downfield. Cassius Marsh able to get him down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of a yard.
It's absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
All right, here we go.
4 down. On second down, Hyde. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
So when you call a corner blitz, what a lot of teams call a cap blitz, you're expected to come after the quarterback. But in this case, he ran into the ball carrier. Really nice technique, because what you do is you come deep as the deepest offensive player, so he can't get outside of you. Let's face it, if you want to get back into the game, these are the kind of throws you got to hit. He's wide open right there. Got to be able to get it to him, don't you think?
And those are the throws that haven't been available to them every time he's dropped a pass. Yeah, that's a big miss. And he's getting a workout here in this first quarter as he gets it away. Now it's Lockett. A nice little juke. So a change of possession here on the punt. Charles, earlier we talked a lot about Russell Wilson, what a great job he did last year in 2017 as Seattle's offense is working their way back onto the field. But they're probably going to need to find a running game to alleviate some of that pressure on Wilson, right?
Yeah, you think? I mean, my goodness, when you take a look at what Russell Wilson did, he more than doubled the rushing yardage of Mike Davis, who finished second. And Mike Davis didn't begin the year on Seattle's roster. They went through a number of runners this season, none of them that fit and really hit. Chris Carson, they thought, was going to be the guy who got hurt early in the year, but they definitely have to find a running game and get back to playing that Seattle football of run first and let Russell Wilson take over from there.
A solid run on first down, gain of 7, leaves him with a 2nd and 3. Getting the sense, Charles, they're going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far is working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come on. I think he likes natural light best.
And the offense still has a couple plays to go to pick up the first on 2nd down and 3. They go read option with Wilson. And he held on to it, but he probably shouldn't have as they get him behind the line. Call that a loss of 5 yards on the play. And that'll lead here to a 3rd down.
DeForest Buckner is a really tall defensive end / defensive tackle. How about that move right there to get upfield and make the play in the offensive backfield? Excellent leverage.
You're right. Tall, big, 6'7", nearly 300 pounds. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave them with a 4th down.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. They'll try and throw for him with Ryan. And this is incomplete. A huge gamble, and it does not pay off. They fake the punt. It doesn't work out. Well, not only did they try to fake it, they put the ball in the arm of their punter, and it didn't work out.
Not the quarterback.
No.
The punter.
Yeah. Risky.
It is so funny because when it works, genius. When it doesn't work, nothing.
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and the Seahawks have recovered.
Yeah, holding on to the football is a big problem for the 49ers last year. Shouldn't surprise any of us, right? When you're 2-14, you probably will lead the league in fumbles as they did. How about they have 15 last year?
15 of them, yep, and a 2-14 record, kind of indicative. I want to give a hat tip real quick, Charles, to J.J. Watt before the possession switches here. Walter Payton, NFL Man of the Year. They totaled up how much he helped raise for Hurricane. There goes Thomas Rolls. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Thomas Rolls doing it again with his 3rd touchdown here in the opening quarter. And this Seahawks offense continues to pour it on. He's on pace now for 12 rushing touchdowns, and I think he's making fantasy owners smile.
I think you got to change something on defense, don't you? I mean, we often talk about using a spy on a quarterback who has the ability to run and maneuver outside of the pocket. Maybe they need to change that to spying him. Because this many touchdowns this early, that is demoralizing for a defense. One guy breaking them down.
Here's Walsh now to kick this one off. Very short kick. This will be taken by one of the up men. And they're going to have really good starting field position here as that's taken up close to the 40. CD, I want to get your thoughts on some potential free agents this offseason before we change the possession here. Now, caution, many of these guys could be resigned, I know, but who are some of them? Kirk Cousins is one.
Yeah, we're talking about difference makers. Kirk Cousins at the quarterback position. He's going to be coveted around the league by quarterback-needy teams. Case Keenum had a big year. Could he move? But how about running backs? Le'Veon Bell, Dion Lewis. some pass catchers, Jimmy Graham, Jarvis Landry, Sammy Watkins. And about the guy who goes and gets quarterbacks, DeMarcus Lawrence had a monster year for Dallas last season.
Yeah, a lot of big names that could be out there as free agents.
Let's go! Blue 90!
Again, it's high. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up third. He already has 2 sacks to his credit. Now another tackle for loss.
And you know how you can always identify who was supposed to block him? They're the ones helping up the person who just got knocked to the ground with the ball, right? Whether it's a running play or a pass play, they've got to figure out a way to slow him down. Maybe you chip him with a second guy. Maybe you just out and out double him. Maybe you make sure you take the ball and throw it as far away from him as possible. Because right now, he is wrecking things for them.
And a gain there of 11 yards.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10.
Double tight, guys, double tight. Let's go! Green 39! Green 39!
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Looking middle, and it's incomplete. Pierre Garçon, the intended receiver. And it's 2nd down.
I know our vantage point might be a little bit better way up here, but that looked like an ill-advised throw to me. I didn't see anything open, and this play just didn't look right from the beginning.
It did not. I thought he might get outside and just chuck it away. Dangerous pass, incomplete. Now Hoyer. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Bobby Wagner in there to pick up his 2nd sack now of the afternoon.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
Here's Hoyer. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And the Seahawks. Picked it up.
Brandon, that's the 3rd time he's fumbled so far in this game, and you can make excuses for each and every one of them, but the bottom line is he's got to take care of it better, and now that he's shown a propensity for fumbling it, just think about what the defenders are trying to do.
Yeah, well, guys hate 1 fumble, 2's, oh my goodness, 3 or more. Wow.
Just doesn't make any sense, does it?
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. 8 yards to go here on 2nd down. They go again with Rawls. Oh, a nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle it.
And he's brought down. That one good for 16, and the drive will continue. One thing's for sure, this defense has to figure out how to stop the ground game. He's eating them up here in the 1st quarter.
It looks like they have to go to different forces, aren't they? The conventional things aren't working too well. So I remember a coach of mine saying way back when a back's having a great game, you've got to get the ball out of his hands. See how far he can run without the ball. And what he meant was takeaways, not get loose, because maybe you can't just stop him with just regular tackling.
Well, they're making a real 1st quarter statement with a run game, no doubt.
For those who remember old school football, running it, establishing things, seeing backs find holes, get through them, they've got to like what they're seeing from this unit so far. Right now, they've decided to, as you said, establish the run game, and they've been successful doing it. Now, that was a terrific play. We're down here near the goal line, and only one word comes to mind for me, and that's overwhelmed, because they absolutely overwhelmed the offensive line.
Alongside my broadcast partner, Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin quarter number 2. And they'll come up looking to keep this drive moving. From the 4, it's second and goal. Wilson going to give to Rawls. And he will not be denied. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks. Thomas Rawls on his way to a historic performance, 4 first-half touchdowns. And the Seahawks are running away with this one. Rawls will try and run it in. And he got it on the touchdown run, but he won't get in here. He'll be stopped short. Kick there that failed. Is that something that maybe they